Now, this is where we get into the juiciest part, man. And let me tell you, there were a lot of changes. There were a lot of new things, new implementations. There were a lot of fixed things that happened, and there were a lot of optimizations. Big words, $17 to $25 words right there for you. Yes, sir. So with this client update, man, we've got so many things to talk about. Now, I'm telling you, we got a lot of things to talk about this entire podcast. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. With the newest client update, the first thing that we have, players can now choose to run an auto battle up to 3 times in a row. So let me put this into perspective for you. Before this update, I was farming Chapter 5 Knight in order to get Mosin's special equipment. And I would send an auto battle out. It cost me 1,500 of ammo, rations, and manpower, and like 500 parts. It would take 5 hours and 40 minutes to complete one run. Okay. Now, imagine like while I'm asleep and I lose that quote-unquote efficiency of being able to reset up the next run. Okay, so now I get to do it 3 times. So if I had that while I was asleep, it took me 100 plus auto battles. I would have gotten it days earlier because I would have gotten to 100 much quicker. So the auto battle is actually going to be really nice. And imagine while you're asleep, hey, I'm going to send out an auto battle to 0-2. Now your dolls are getting they're getting EXP while you're asleep. You're getting cores while you're asleep. This is definitely something to look at, especially with the EXP event coming around the corner. Do not sleep on the auto battles. This is going to be very helpful. The next thing that we'll talk about is going to be the auto battle monthly card. Now, you could say that this is a slight pay to win mechanic. I don't think it is, because you're actually going to have to use like kind of more resources, kind of. And you're also under the assumption that this person isn't going to be playing as much as you are. So for me, I play so much that auto battle monthly card is like useless to me. Okay. But for someone like, let's say, and I'm going to, shout out to Linead, where like, if I were to be the 0-2 man, he's like the auto battle man. That man has like done multiple auto battles of 0-2, and that's just because he works and he doesn't really have much time or whatever the case may have you, but he still gets his runs in. So this auto battle card is effective for 30 days, just the same way as the monthly gem card. It offers various benefits for auto battling, including increasing the auto battle batch run limit to 5 consecutive battles. So now instead of doing 3 in a row, we get 5. Hey, as far as efficiency is concerned, I'm going to say word. That's pretty nice. Okay. It allows 2 different auto battles to be carried out simultaneously. Let's say you go to sleep. You get an auto battle at 0-2. You get an auto battle at 6-3N or 5-2N or 5-2E or 0-4 or wherever. Now you got 2 auto battles going on through the night. Boom. Or now you got 2 auto battles, and then you're grinding 0-2 on top of that. Boom. So that's going to be very nice. Then you increase the EXP gain from auto battles by 50%. So they have to add some type of incentive. Now, obviously, it's not the same as an EXP rate up because you get it only on auto battles, and auto battles take X amount of time depending on what stage it is. So it's not quite the same as running 0-2 over and over and over on EXP rate up, but this is a good incentive. It is a good incentive to buy the monthly auto battle card. And then, last but not least, they make it possible to deploy only 1 echelon for each auto battle. That to me can kind of be skewed or swayed. I don't know if I like that, just because if I'm auto battling and I don't really get to play that often, throwing 2 into 1 battle to get all the EXP I think is going to be really nice. Then throwing another 2 over here to get all the EXP is really nice. So now I'm leveling 4 squads. at one time. At least that's how I see it, but maybe that's not how that would work. If you do have this auto battle card and you have more information on it, feel free to let me know, because this is definitely something I won't ever buy and I will never test out. But at the very least, if you don't have time to play, you don't have time to grind a lot, getting this auto battle monthly card is a nice incentive, a nice way to continue grinding a lot, even if you don't have the time. Moving forward, this is going to be something that's actually really, really nice. We have increased the limit for different infrastructures. So the maximum TDOL capacity to be, oh my lord, what was that English? The maximum TDOL capacity used to be 500 and it's now increased to 600. You'll have to buy that if you used to be at 500 and you want to increase again. The maximum ferry capacity used to be 100 and now it's 200. The equipment used to be 800 and now it's 1,000. The furniture used to be 2,000 and now it's 2,500. The friend limit is 50 to 100. Now, for me personally, the friend limit I think is the most attractive one here, because 500 to 600 is negligible. Maximum ferry 100 to 200, it's kind of negligible at this point. Since ferries are relatively new, I don't know of many people that have like 80 ferries just sitting around, just, hey, I got these and I need more room. Or, I don't know of anybody with a lot of ferries this early on. As far as equipment, I mean, I'm sitting at like 260. So I think I've gotten like 3 increases of equipment space. 260 is fine. 800, Lord have mercy. I can't imagine how lucky you'd have to be there. Much less 1,000. If you got luck like that, brother, go buy the lottery. You know what I'm saying? So do yourself that favor. And then with furniture, I think furniture, with a max of 2,000 getting increased to 2,500. Again, I personally, I'm not a whale on like every furniture, but I know there are furniture collectors. So maybe that's super helpful for them. I don't know. But those are the infrastructure increases. I really like that a lot. Then we have the new adjuster to switch between dorms or anything in the dorm tab. So basically, if you're in the dorm tab, you can swipe left or right to go from your dorms to the auxiliary rooms. And then you can swipe up and down to go from dorm 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can go from like the cafe to the data room to the pet room, so on and so forth. So that's actually a really nice little QOL update right there. The rescue station, that now has pet birds. I've seen 2 birds, and I think they cost like 600 batteries to adopt. The 2 birds that I saw were slapdicks, so I ain't finna even adopt them. So I'm gonna just wait for like something that looks cool. But the first 2 birds that I saw were like slapdick, and I was like, well, you're at least level 10. Infrastructure, enjoy your time here. I'll see you next time. And we moved on. So then the next thing we do have is when you're in combat, the skill tab at the bottom will now display the duration and the current buff stacks of skills. That is actually really nice. And we will have a little visual of that a little bit later in the podcast. They have also added a button to collect all production results in TDOL equipment production. Now, if you're the type of person who has like three production tabs or 4 production tabs just to make your dailies go by easier, it's actually really nice because you produce all 4 or produce all 3 or produce both of them, let them run down to 0. And instead of clicking, collect all, and then it just goes through the cycle of it. And it's really nice. So that is definitely a very, very nice QOL update. They have also added the autoplay and story log feature in the story mode. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Because, sometimes you might click a little too fast and then you'd have to start the entire story back over, and then you got to get back to that point, and just a hassle. I'm glad they added that. Because for me personally, I love the story. If you ain't read the story, please do yourself a favor and read the story. It's a beautiful story. Honestly, I'm I don't know what's next in the story. Is it chapter 9? Is it deep dive and then, another night chapter? I'm looking forward to it, man. Deep dive. That story and deep dive. That's my number one goal. That's I want to read that story. Screw everything else. I want the story, man. Okay, moving on. They've also added a timer and a share function for AR photos. Now, I play on emulator. I don't really play too much on my phone. So, I forgot that the AR thing was even existent. But, hey, it's still cool. Then they have the game now can remember your Sunborn username. Expand the drop-down list to select a previously used user name. If you're switching between emulator to phone or phone to tablet or tablet to emulator, whatever the case may be, a little bit of quality of life right here. I don't know if it's the same thing as how it used to be I think on the first client, you would be able to go from your phone to the emulator and it would just instantly log you in. You wouldn't have to type any credentials. If you've logged into this phone before and you've logged into this emulator before, you could just go swap back and forth extremely easy. I don't know the mechanics or the details behind why that changed in client 2 and why it's back in client 3. I don't know any of those mechanics, but it's at least back somewhat. So that's going to be very nice. And these are going to be the end of the new features for the new client. Moving on, we do have the optimizations. Now that we got a lot of optimizations, and I'm glad because this is going to improve the quality of the game and how it works for your phone and things of this nature. But there are a lot of them, so I'm just going to try to roll through them as quickly as possible. First off, we have the greatly improved performance and reduced chances of game crashing. Needless to say, your game won't crash and it shouldn't bug out anymore or as often as it used to. They've also reduced the game size for people that, have limited space on your phone. That is definitely a huge blessing. Hey, whew, hallelujah, finally. Then on top of that, it will relieve stress on the emulator. If you got an older computer like myself, or you just don't have that much room on your computer to begin with, definitely is going to help you out. They've also had several optimizations for planning mode, which if you haven't seen my video about a very, very quick and efficient route to farming 02, check that out. It'll be somewhere, I'm sure. But you can definitely check it out. You now can include multi-turn planning, selecting the same node multiple times, the shortest route plotting, and automatic position switching. Boy, let me tell you, I ain't never felt so lazy in my life running 02 because I set that run up and I ain't even got to look at it for like 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And I tell you, it is something so very nice because now I can read a book. I got a stack of light novels over there. Now I can watch V-Lives. Now I can watch streams or YouTube videos or edit videos or whatever. All because this is now so much, I guess, easier, but it's also kind of lazy. So, which do you think it is? Is it lazy or do you think it's easy? I think it's a little bit of both. But moving on. If you have a costume of, excuse me, I'm gonna have to edit that out maybe. If you have a costume, but not the corresponding T-doll, you can now unlock the icon, poster, and side story, if applicable, of the costume by selecting the collection option in the dorm, then warehouse, then gift. The costume will automatically be available upon obtaining the corresponding T-doll and will not need to be gifted again. Now, this is obvious. You don't get that skin as your adjutant if you don't have the doll, right? But I'm going to tell you this. I wish this was here earlier because at the very least, I wouldn't have had 5.7's summer skin sitting in my warehouse for 8+ months. Every time that I'd go there, it'd be like, oh yeah, I got that skin. Man, when am I going to be able to get 5.7? One day. And then, you turn around and get another skin for a doll you don't have. Now, I think I saw it maybe on somebody's stream or maybe on Reddit or maybe, I don't know where I saw it. But I think the way that it works is when you give the skin, you give it to Kalina. and she gives you the poster and you get the icon, but you do not get the affection for the T-Doll because you're not giving it to the T-Doll, obviously. But I don't know if that increases Kalina's affection. I don't know. I don't believe it does, though. So just be on the lookout for that. We've also already talked about the command and the rescue fairies being reclassified as combat fairies. Very, very beautiful quality of life change. Next, we have the production log has been reworked into having recommended recipes, which retains the function of the old production log while also containing recommended recipes for different T-Dolls, equipments, and fairies that can directly be used. Basically, you have your old way that the production log worked, you have your old voodoo, you have all your favorites still saved. The only thing that they've done is they've now added a tab that says recommended recipes, aka Micah recipes, and when you click a preview of said recipe, you can actually turn around and say, hey, this said recipe is you have a high chance of getting these SMGs. You have a medium chance of getting this. You have a low chance of getting this. And it kind of shows you every single T-Doll that you can get. And it is so very nice. And honestly, looking at it from a newer player's perspective, because I am doing that tutorial to 02 series on YouTube, looking at it from that perspective, dude, that is so nice. Imagine having that in the game, when we were newer players, man. When, I remember Dumpling specifically, man. Oh, dude, I thought doing 999x4 was supposed to give me better dolls. That would have been avoided for so many people. So at least right now, I'm very happy that the new players are able to see these recommended recipes if they don't have anybody to kind of guide them or give them advice about GFL. That is such a very, very nice quality of life update that has been added. They also have optimized certain functions and information displays in the dorm. The level of a T-Doll will be visible above her when gifting combat reports. Very nice. You can view a T-Doll's information by long pressing on her chibi. Haven't done that yet. I'll do that after this podcast. A shortcut for quick purchasing new dorms is added. Doesn't really matter if you got 10 or doesn't matter if you have everything at level 10 and you're sitting at 6 dorms like myself. I don't really see a need for any more dorms right now. A new layout when viewing furniture by sets. Haven't seen that. Gonna check that out too. So these are some pretty nice little quality of life updates. I know when you give combat reports, it is actually a very nice little UI or a little layout. I very much like that a lot. We also have it added an independent category for posters. I mean, I have all my posters like on a wall in some dorms, so I haven't seen that. I mean, I'd assume like, hey, it must be nice if you at least did it. So, hey, by all means, that's lit. You can now view the effect of handgun T-Doll tiles at different levels of dummy linking. Dude, thank you, Jesus. Because there were some times when I was first starting out, it was so difficult to say, okay, this doll is doing this. This handgun is giving me this % of a buff for a tile buff at this dummy link. But I'm trying to compare it to a different dummy link of a different doll. But then when I try to go to the index, it was only showing me as if the doll was like dummy link 1. And I was like, yo, this is a mad headache. Like, please, what is this? And now they've changed that and it's very, very welcome, very nice. Next, you can directly move to the enhancement, dummy link, and skill training interfaces from a T-Doll's profile page. Seeing that, it is so nice. I love that. Because if you turn around and you're like, oh man, yo, I need to level this doll. Or I need to enhance this doll. Or, yo, this skill is at level 6 and I forgot about it. And this doll is going to be really useful for me in deep dive. Instead of going through like, I'm going to hit back and then go over here, find it over here, go there. Now you can turn around and boom, 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 and you're done. And it's so very nice. And then, personally, I mean, hey, I'm about that QOL. You can now access the special voice lines of a costume in the index. And I think Live 2D skins have different voice lines. I know Type 95 Live 2D does. I don't know about any other skins that may or may not have special voice lines. But now I'm going to go look for that because, hey, new stuff. Of course I'm going to check it out, man. So that's really nice. You can now view the possible drops of a map or an enemy and combat summary by long pressing your enemy's icon for the longest time. There have been some people that go on the left side of 02. They go left side, then hit the middle, then go up and finish the run. There have been people who hit that middle route and then they do the normal route. Well, now if people are like, well, why don't people ever take the left side instead of the middle side? Obviously, we're never going to take the far right side. Now you can actually compare the $2 and say, hey, I'm a long tap on these enemies. Oh, this only gives me 2 stars. Oh, this gives me a 3-star chance. Oh, this gives me a 4-star chance. And that's really nice. And then if you tap, and this goes right into the next point, you can hold on. I lost my spot. Okay. The combat summary. Yeah, it's on the same point. Here it is. In the combat summary, you can actually click the combat summary at the top, and you can specify a certain T-doll. And you can click the T-doll, and a little light will appear on every single enemy that T-doll can drop from. Dude, I'm telling you. And you know, I tested it out. I think I was on chapter 4, chapter 5, boss running for the Easter eggs. I turned around and I tried that combat summary because somebody mentioned it to me. And it lit up a little light on the boss and nobody else. And I checked the entire map and I said, wow. I was like, I was always curious if fighting other mobs would give me a chance, but nobody ever tried it. But it literally is only that boss. And I was like, this is so cool. And I really do like it a lot. Only thing that I'm curious about is I'm curious if it works for equipment too, for night battles. Haven't seen that yet, but definitely that'll be really nice to look at and find out. They've optimized the display for combat simulation results. If you've ran the EXP combat sim, dude, that UI is so clean. It tells you all this information, and it's like, man, this is nice. And I'm telling you, dude, it's just, that's what I like to see, man. That type of improvement, that type of quality, man, I just gotta give a little round of applause, man. Like, that's just so nice. They've also updated the interface for starting, finishing, and repeating an auto battle. Haven't done any auto battles yet, but I will go and check that out very soon, especially when the EXP rate up comes along. Don't sleep on the auto battles. Don't sleep on them now. The status of your own support echelon will be updated upon login. Don't know what that means. Have no idea about that. Maybe you know, if you level up your T-dolls that are on your support squad, maybe that does something. Or maybe it's like, hey, you know, instead of being like 5 hours since I logged in like 10 seconds ago, not 5 hours ago. Maybe it's like that. Not too sure. They've optimized the display purchase limit in the shop. Very clean, by the way, because on top of that, they've also added the remaining time of your monthly card to be visible in the shop. Instead of having to read the mail when you collect your gems, you can just collect your gems and then you look in the shop. Oh, hey, boom. It leaves in 3 days. It leaves in however long. Very nice. I like that a lot. They've altered the sorting logic for icons and backgrounds for the ID card and friend shop. Haven't seen that. I have all the live 2D backgrounds, but yeah, now that I hear that, I'll definitely give it a look. When your number of batteries has reached the limit, the excess will be stored in the condenser after collection. I can only assume this because I collect my batteries every day. Gang. You have a limit of 480. Instead of losing out on batteries now, let's say you get up to like 960, okay? Collect it at this time. There goes your 480. You've collected everything, right? Well, now you go back to the next collection time. 480 again. Okay. Okay, now you've collected that. Well, now you got to catch back up on what you missed while it was still going. So instead of having 480, let's say you got like 250. and now everything's clean. So you don't miss out on, extra batteries. That's how I'm understanding it. Could be wrong though. I collect all my batteries all the time. It'd be like that. When obtaining training data from collecting rewards or purchasing packages, excess data surpassing the limit 9,999 will still be kept. Yo, I am out for vengeance. I lost out on 216 basic data. I'm a little salty, man. I mean, I didn't know that the limit existed. So then I ran an extra data, like a basic data. And the next thing I knew, I log in for the daily and it was gone. And I was sad. My 216 basic data. Bruh. Real talk though. Hey, now I ain't got to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. Everything's fine and we can move on with our lives and never have to worry about losing out on that again. When collecting rewards, the pop-up window will now display the contents through icons instead of text. I'm going to be honest with you. Seeing it in text, it was like, okay, yo, I know what I get. I can read everything. Okay, cool, nice. But for some reason, seeing the rewards as pictures, it feels like kind of more rewarding. Because instead of seeing text, I see exactly what I get. And it's like, man, it's such a minuscule change. But it's something that is having a greater effect on me subconsciously. And I'm just like, yo, I just got that. Hey, we rich. Yeah. And so, it's something that's really nice. And I really enjoy it a lot. Then we have the UID will now be visible on the commander's profile page. And I believe that's when you click on that top left-hand corner where your commander level is. If you click on that, I think maybe that's where your UID is available. I don't know 100% sure, but that's what I would assume they're talking about. And then last but not least, they've optimized some game tips. I'm not about to start a third account just to read the game tips. If you find some, hey, congratulations, but I ain't finna do that. So they did do that. So hey, congrats for the new players that are coming into the game. Now we have the fixed things with this client update. Dude, I'm telling you, this client update is straight fire. They've done so many nice things. First thing that they fixed, the overlapping voice lines during certain occasions. Dude, let me tell you, when you have a full squad of T-Dolls and all their skills pop off at once. And it's just like, what? Wasn't really attractive. So now they've fixed that. Missing visual effects for certain interactions in the dorm. Don't know what those interactions are, but they've fixed it. There is a bug that occasionally causes errors when doing night auto battles. I swear to you, if that bug is the reason why I had to do 100 plus auto battles, I'm going to be a little upset. Thankfully, they didn't specify on what it did, so hats off to you. You saved yourself. Respect. I like it. An error that will occasionally shift the game into portrait mode after posting on Twitter. I never posted anything on Twitter. I screenshot my own stuff with a little snippet on the computer. Can't say anything about that. Abnormal firing animation of certain T-Dolls and skill training. Okay. Cool. Hey, the more things you fix, the better. I'm never going to hate on that, but I didn't know that there was any abnormal firing animations. An error that will occasionally cause the edge of the combat and result settlement screens to flicker when Elfelt is in the echelon. I can't say anything about that. I've had Elfelt in my echelon before. I didn't see anything personally, but it must have happened. The abnormal display of certain furniture icons in Black Card Exchange and Time Limited Trade. Okay, cool. The mail title disappearing after a mail is opened. I've personally never dealt with that, but if people have dealt with it, I'm glad that that is resolved. An error that caused certain hidden achievements to disappear. I certainly hope that that wasn't like anything too huge. I don't know what it could be, but definitely hope it's nothing too huge. The text alignment and information display in certain interfaces, a fantastic. Having silly text alignment is just silly. And then they've had one last adjustment. The auto battle. Reduced time required. Increased EXP and affection gain. Lowered the combat effectiveness required and increased the threshold for EXP reduction. This is so nice for any auto battle players or for people who actually use auto battles, because I'm gonna tell you this, I never really thought about doing auto battle 0-2 when I go to sleep until after I told y'all on podcast literally right now. So your boy finna be getting even more runs of 0-2 in. Hey, yeah, lamal. So that is definitely gonna be extremely nice. Now, Micah actually did provide us on Twitter with some picture, I guess, explanations of some major changes that they did. And I did want to use those because, one, they looked really clean. Two, we can talk about these again in depth. And three, I just felt like talking about them because I really do think these are really welcome changes. And so let's talk about that. The first one we just started mentioning was the auto battle. Multiple runs you get from one auto battle. Now you can get up to 3. The monthly auto battle goes from 3 to 5 consecutives, and then you can get 2 auto battles simultaneously, the increased EXP, and then you can do it with 1 echelon. Used to, you would have to do 2 echelons, and you'd have both echelons needed to be at a specific threshold for combat effectiveness. Now that threshold has dipped. That's really nice because now I can like literally put slapdick characters together. I don't have to worry about their CE as much, and I don't need to put a fairy in there because the fairy's not even going to get EXP anyway. And then turn around and now I can just send out what I want to send out instead of having to actually make a real team. That's really nice. On top of that, if you take a look at the picture right here and you look towards the bottom side, they have a plus minus counter of how many times you can actually run the auto battle. So let's say you're going to like take a break, or let's say you go out to eat with some friends, but let's say you're not going to do 3 auto battles worth of time. So let's say it's 9 hours for 3 auto battles. Let's say you're only going to be out for 6 hours. You can do 2 auto battles, and you still are getting your EXP, you're still getting your runs, you're still being somewhat efficient, and that is definitely going to be really nice. So being able to choose how many you do instead of being forced into 3 is fantastic, because now you can work around your sleep, and you can say, hey man, I sleep for 6 hours, but 6 hours is like 2 auto battles of 0-2. Or if you sleep for 8 hours, and that's 3 auto battles of 0-2. You can now choose that. That's super, extremely, just fantastic. Oh, I honestly can't stop talking about the auto battles because your boy, we finna get these runs, baby. Yeah. Next is the planning optimization, just to give you an actual visual cue of how this looks now. You can plan multiple turns, and you will notice the planning of multiple turns when your action points hit negative. So if you have 3 available and then you do 4 dots, you'll do the 3, the turn will automatically end, and then the next turn will move you to that 4th action point that you did. So that's extremely nice. You can also stack it up. As you see on the right-hand side of the picture, you can stack it up and repeat the same thing over and over and over. And, it looks funny and looks cool, but it's actually really nice to be able to do that whenever you do your advanced combat sim run. It is super nice to just plan everything out, and then boom, you're done. So I really do like that a lot. The second portion of this is that you can actually see it. They automatically switch it for us. If we run into a friendly echelon or a support echelon and it's in our planning mode, they switch it for us automatically and we continue on that planned route. You can also skip nodes. So instead of clicking every single node in 0-2, you can actually say, I start on here, click this node, then click this one here and here. You don't have to click every single node. So that's extremely nice quality of life. And like I say in my YouTube video, it's a 4-click run for 0-2. And I believe it used to be like a 4-click run just for the first half of 0-2. So that's really, really nice. Next, we're going to talk about the combat very quickly. Basically, the optimizations for that. What I was talking about when you hit that combat summary and the little light that I was showing you, you can see that in the picture right here. When you open the combat summary, it gives you a huge detail of all the characters. And then when you select specific characters, you can actually see that little light on the boss. That is the chapter limited drop. On top of that, in that top right hand corner, when you long press against an enemy, you can see, hey, this enemy gives me a chance at 4-star and 3-star units. This enemy does not give me a chance at 4-star and 3-star units. So you can kind of go about and say, hey, this is the route that I want to take for whatever map that I'm fighting. That is very, very nice for the quality of life. Then, okay, they didn't mention this, but I'm going to mention this. Sangvis Ferry, when they fight, they now have blue ammo, and it's distinguishable at who they are fighting and who they are targeting. So now I can say, oh, I think that this person is shooting this character, when in reality it's shooting this other character, but I'm focusing kiting this one when I should be kiting this one, and I'm messing up, and then I realize it too late. I lose a dummy link, and I got to restart the fight. Then I got to do it from memory about how it's supposed to work. No. They have blue ammo. It's distinguishable, and it is so very nice for kiting and just for visualizing who you need to be moving, who the enemy is targeting, how do they switch their targeting. Oh, dude, I cannot express to you how much I love that small little change. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the change that is actually on this page. Is when you're in combat, the skill at the bottom will display the duration, which is the yellow bar, and then the cooldown, which is the white bar. So now it just flows better. And then if you see down there, you see the times 12. That's actually part of Grape's skill, and then that times 2 is part of Strawberry's skill. And so it tells you, like, you know, let's say you have to stack up to 18 for Grape. Hey, you're at 12, you're at this, you're at this. Okay, now you know you're about to smack them real hard. Boom. And so now you can kind of time and plan around that and just kind of see when you're going to get those big hits. So these are all of the quality of life changes that have come to us on the new client, whether they are optimizations, UI changes, whatever have you. These are all the beautiful things that I love the most for the client. What is it that you like? Like I said, for me, as small of a change as it is, for me personally, it's got to be the blue ammo, just because it's so nice for me to kite. What is your favorite thing? Definitely let me know, because, hey, I always like to see that different point of view.